Hey guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp with a Limp, and I'm here with a special treat for you all. I have got sniper kill confirmed. We're going to jump down to the table and check that out, do a quick playthrough series on it. Bear with me. I'm trying a new filming technique, so it's going to look a little different than I've done before, but you've always got to be improving, right? You always got to be changing things up, trying to better how you do things. That's what I am doing. And for our playthrough, I am starting it a little bit farther on into the game, just because depending on how the game goes, if I started at the very beginning to try to show you everything, if I have bad rolls, which I think I ultimately in this video do end up having bad rolls, it would take a long time and I could end up spending an hour or 2 hours trying to film enough to get everything for you. Or if I have good rolls, I take all the bad guys out. It just depends. So I start this one a little bit farther into it. We're kind of in the middle of the game instead of the beginning of the game. Doesn't change anything. I still get to show you how the game itself works. But let's pop down to the table and let you guys see it. All right, so here we are down at the table. Did our little intro. Now we're going to take and look at the components themselves, let you guys see it. We're going to play through a little portion of it, not all of it. And that's kind of partly due to the way that it plays, okay? Because as we can see here, there are the 6 zones. You guys are going to see this, how it works out as we're playing through. But we're going to start on zone 4 because zone 5 is where the target comes into it. And there's really nothing different between the rest of these zones and 4, except for the target coming in. So we're going to save a little time. All right. So moving up into here, nothing is going to be different except the fact that we'll be right there at our target. All right. That we're trying to take out for our Sniper Elite game to get our kill confirmed, all that good stuff. But just understand that everything that's going on over here, right? Zones 1, 2, and 3 works out the same as we're doing from 4 on to 5. Now I'll talk about some of this in my final thoughts about the game, but I wanted to hit on it here as well. And the game, it made some odd choices, right? That kind of make me wonder why. There's a double set of counters included in it. There's only a single counter sheet, and even the single counter sheet isn't full. Not even by a close margin is it full. It's only like half full. They could have done a half counter sheet and still have room left over. That wasn't needed. The same with the patrols on this. Honestly, they really should have cut way down on the counters, saved themselves some cost if possible. It just doesn't make sense to me why they had the extra counters in here that weren't needed. You guys will see things like our hostile counters here that we're going to use in the enemy boxes. These are fine, right? That's no problem. It's the other counters. The enemy snipers, we really have kind of too many. The hostiles counters, even, we have too many. We have doubles of those we don't really need. But some are counters that we don't need, period. We have a sniper counter that's used to keep track of what zone we're in, but we have 4 of them when at most you need 2. Right? Because the double spots to keep track of it. And that's even the thing, is you don't have to keep track of them on both sheets anyway. So you've got your player board over here on the right, and then your location board here on the left. Both show the zones, so you can keep track on both, but really there's no need to keep track of them on both. And more often than not, I just don't see a reason to do so. There are a few decisions that were made when it comes to all the components that just don't make sense to me. The cards, I will say, the cards are great. You guys can hear that. Cards are nice and thick. I'm good with that. I would have liked to have seen maybe some better differentiation between the different sets. You can see it's only at the top right that it shows like location, hostiles, tactical, action. That's not the end of the world. It really doesn't make that big of a difference. I would have liked to have seen different backs on those just to make things easier, but it's not, like I said, the end of the world. Maybe it's a cost-saving measure. Not the best one, but it is one that works for them. Okay. My biggest thing is these location boards here on the left. Now let me keep this down because I've already randomly grabbed out a Target VIP card that we're going to use. My XS Sniper token here. But we have 4 player boards. We've got desert, we've got jungle, we've got ruined city, and we've got countryside. Now, when I played the preview of this on Vassal, it was the prototype copy wasn't fleshed out and fully finished yet. So I probably should have said more then than I did. And that's partly on me because I was a little busy at the time. But there were things that could have been changed here that would have made it a little bit better. I wanted to see differences, right? There's no difference between any of those zones. Now, yes, technically the location cards are different, and you guys will see there are location cards for each one of the different zones, right? So jungle, ruined city for the open farmland or whatever one that one is, and then desert. So there's cards for each ones, but those cards have the same effects. 1 cover, 2 cover, claymore, strip wires. They all have the same amounts and same sets. Really, there is no difference between any of the locations here. And that is just something that is a missed opportunity. Really a big missed opportunity. Because what I would have liked to have seen is something like a different wind modifier, right? So instead of having just a flat wind modifier here on the sniper board, put that here instead on the location board and have it different for each zone, because it would make a thematic sense to have higher winds maybe in the desert, lower winds in the city, because the buildings are going to block off the winds. You're not going to have to worry about that as much. Barely any modifier to worry about there, right? Huge missed opportunity, I think, to individualize these locations for each different area that you're going to go to. It would really give you a feel of advancing and fighting in different spots. As it is for me, I would have to come up with some type of house rule to change things, right? To actually have a reason to have a different board out, right? Think American Tank Ace, right? When you're doing a different type of mission, whether it's attacking or defending, different things happen. And then as the dates change, different types of enemies show up, right? You're not fighting the same types of enemies that you do in 1941, 42, whatever it is, as you are in 1944. It changes over the years. That's what this needs, a difference. The hostiles, the targets, that's fine. That could have been left the same. The gameplay itself could have been left the same, but individualize these locations. All right, and to finish talking about the components, I would be remiss if I did not talk about the rulebook here. The rulebook isn't necessarily hard to understand, but there is a fair amount of errata, and it's a fair amount of errata for a rulebook that's 10 pages, because the example of play starts on page 11, 12. So yeah, we're talking about roughly 9-10 pages total, not a whole huge sum of rules, and there's still a fair amount of errata in here. Honestly, this feels a little beta-ish. I was fine with where the game was when I prototyped it back when, because I thought it was still being fleshed out a little bit. I think that they, for some reason, and this doesn't make sense because these people are better than this, they just kind of stopped and said, okay, we're good where we're at, and they just pushed it out. Which is sad to see, because the game itself isn't really bad. I like the idea. I like the idea of pushing through a zone as a sniper. I love the roll and play games, right? American Tank Ace is, oh my God, one of my favorites. I freaking love that game. But still, the bomber games, the Zeppelin games, the submarine games, whatever it is, I love those type of games. Having a sniper one is just up my alley. Good to go. It just... handful of missed opportunities here that could have been worked out a little bit better than they were, and especially with the locations not being fleshed out and the rule book just being kind of a hot mess, to be honest with you, that's not good. That really needs to be tweaked out for like a version 2. I would like to see Sniper Kill Confirmed Volume 2 with all of these mistakes fleshed out and corrected, right? Locations actually meaning something and making a difference, and the rules being fleshed out and gone through before we get to publishing. But anyway, let's play a little bit, let you guys see how the game itself is going to work. We do have ourselves a couple of player aids. Make sure you pay attention to this quick reference sheet here at the bottom of it. The quick reference sheet does reference important concepts. Important concepts is code for errata. So think of this as things that kind of need fleshing out. On our how to play, it tells us how we're going to set up. When you are setting up as you're starting out, you're going to have whatever weapon you start with. You can choose to start with a better weapon. I'm starting with the basic M40A3. There are a selection of different ones. You can have up to the Barrett 50 cal sniper rifle. Different weapons will give you certain modifiers, die roll modifiers, making it easier to hit your target or doing things like reducing the effects of wind on your round. You know, you're firing a heavier, more powerful rifle, so you're going to have less of an effect on your weapon itself. You can also get things like pistols and knives, which will give you certain boons in close combat. That is definitely something key you want to get if possible. Over here are the zones, like I was talking about previously, same thing. Down over here, honestly, I really only worry about it as far as the location is concerned. I more often than not just forget to keep track over here. Touching on the morale, since it's in a couple different places, but anyway, morale here, there are tokens, which I think I put up. I don't worry about the morale tokens. I saw someone reference this online and I like the idea. Use whatever innate token you have. For me, I just use the little yellow beads because you get 5 points per enemy hostile killed. That's it. That's all you have to worry about. Now, I think maybe with the VIP targets, that can be different. I'd have to look that one back up. But as you're moving along, you're getting 5 morale points for each guy that you take out, period. So keeping track of it with a ×1 and a ×10 morale marker down here just wasn't the way to go. So as I take guys out, I just grab these little beads and throw them over here so I remember, okay, well, when I have 3 beads, that means I've got enough morale points to move up to the next zone because it's always 15 points per zone, which means you need 3 hostile kills to move up to the next zone. Real easy to keep track of that way versus trying to keep track of it with those little counters. Same vein that I saw people talking about this is something I was doing myself as well. The game comes with something like 12 patrol markers. It makes no sense to me why you have the 12 patrol markers, the patrol zones. As you're going along, one of the steps is, where is it at? You know, the enemy patrol phase. Okay, so as we're going along here, you're going to do your enemy patrol phase. It's simply rolling a d6 and seeing if it rolls whatever number you're in. If you have, then a patrol is going to pop there. You guys will see that when we start playing. They gave us 2 patrol markers per zone, and we only needed 1 even if we're doing that. It's kind of dumb. So really, you just need a single patrol marker just to throw out. I just grab it on the location board, throw that out. To cover that, range over here, the range to enemy. Again, it's kind of referenced in a couple of places here and over here. The way I kind of think about it is when I'm using it here, that's when I'm fighting the hostiles that are just run-of-the-mill enemies and enemy snipers, that type of stuff. All right, so them I keep track of here. When I'm going after the VIP target, that I keep track of over here. I think that works well for me. Only other things you really got to worry about setting up, I think that's it besides the decks. You do have spots here for your wounds, critical and regular wounds. Either one of those fill up, you die. There's a spot for spotter KIA. If you want to have that rule, it's optional. I'm not going to include it, but there is a counter for it if you would like to use it. I have a huge selection of dice here, The game itself only comes with 4. You're going to have 3 D6s and 1 D10. But I do have my lovely double 6 dice that you can get at double6.com. They haven't sent me anything. I just love their dice, so I talk them up every chance I get. Great dice. I love them. They're D12s that have a D6 on it, but the D6 is on there twice. So 2 1s, 2 2s, 2 3s, 2 4s. That basic thing. But basically, they roll much easier. Love these dice. Only other thing to show you down here, enemy reserve track. Think of that as your soft time limit, okay? If that ever fills up, which it will go up slowly over the course of the game as you draw hostile cards, if that ever fills up, then you have been captured. Too many hostiles are in the area, and they've gotten you. All right, so let's see if we can at least attack a target. I've got my little dice tray over here. We've got our cards shuffled up, ready to go. We do need to figure out what zone we are going to be in. Which one of these player aids is it? Okay, here we go. Right here, their quick reference chart at the top. 2 to 4 is jungle. 5 to 7 is ruined city. 8 to 10 is countryside. And 11 to 12 is desert compound. Let's roll our 2d6. See what we get. We got ourselves a 6. 6 is going to be ruined city. Give me a second. Let me grab the ruined city marker location, and we'll get ourselves set up. Now that I think about it, I'm going to grab a different one. I'm just going to pick one, I think. I'm going to, because I remember I think I did ruined city when I did my prototype playthrough, and I don't want to do the same one. So let's just go with jungle. Just grab that one randomly. It matches our sniper playthrough map, so we'll stick with that. Now, your location deck, again, you're going to have a selection of cards. You are going to shuffle these up, but since I am doing jungle, I only need the jungle cards. I'm going to get rid of the rest of these location cards. I'm not going to need them for this game, but just to show you again what I'm talking about, for the most part, these cards are the same. Or they're very, very close. Can't remember if they're the exact same or just very close. Let's look here. Ruined City. All right, so these are no cover. 2-1 cover, 2-2 cover, 2 Claymore, and 2 Tripwire. Okay, that's what's there. Here we got 2 Tripwire, 2 Claymore, 2-2 cover, 2-1 cover, and 2-1 cover. So the difference between this location and this location is the fact that this has 2 no covers and this has 4 1 cover. All right, you guys will see what that means. Basically, it's a die roll modifier. It's a very, very small, minute change that really just doesn't throw that big of a difference. I would have liked to have seen that done way, 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 way different. Way different to give a different feel, right? As you're playing through, especially things like what I was talking about, the wind, right? You know, different wind in different areas. The desert having very high wind would make sense. The city having very low wind would make sense, at least in certain areas, but generally speaking. Got myself set up. I got my weapon, got my location deck, grab my target VIP card, I randomly drew, and you don't have a whole lot of those. You got 4. That's something else they could have included more of as well. I don't want to show those. Let me look away because I don't want to see what my target is, but just to let you guys see, these are some of your other targets. You can have guys like this, or this, just to kind of give you a heads up. I don't know if that focused exactly right because I'm not looking at this. I'm trying a different way of filming, seeing if this works. I'm trying something different, but we're in zone 4. We are all in the jungle. We got our rifle. They have talking about putting patrol markers and cups. You don't need to do that. There's no reason to do that. You're simply going to roll. There are counters that come with this game that are D6, right? You get 2 sets of those, 1 through 6. I don't even use them. I simply roll D6 when I need D6. Don't draw for it. This is not space infantry where it works when you draw encounters. You don't even try to do that in this. Okay, so sequence of play is right here. We're going to start with our card draw phase. We have, besides our location deck and our hostiles deck, Hostiles, we're going to keep track of right here. Got them set there so I can draw and set them on our board. We also have Action Deck and Tactical Deck. They're very similar. Action Deck are the cards that allow you to do stuff. There are some equipment type cards in there, which you guys will see. But generally speaking, your action cards are going to allow you to shoot, move, crawl, do snipery things. Your tactical deck, you get one card instead of the 5 action cards that you get. And that's going to have little bits of snipery equipment that you can use to try to make your mission just that little bit easier. So starting off, we will draw ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 action cards and a single tactical card. Now I'm going to try to set this to where I'm not knocking out my zoom, but I'm probably just going to hold them down and zoom in after the fact. All right, this is not too bad. We got Binocs that automatically allows us to spot one set of enemies. That is pretty good for a tactical card. We got ourselves a blank, a crawl, a suppress, another crawl, which isn't too good, and a move. So I've got no shoots, and I don't even have the ability to play. I wish they have it set up in this game to where you can discard 2 blank cards to do certain things. You can count it as an equipment, a move, or a fire card. I wish you could just do that with any 2 cards. Just be done with it. Because I'm not going to be using these 2 crawls. I'm basically going to end up discarding them because this allows you to crawl to the next zone without checking to see if you've been spotted by a patrol. Well, the problem with that is I don't have any morale points yet, so I can't do anything with these cards. I can't crawl anywhere. So they're going to get discarded. The blank card I can't do anything with because I've only got the 1. So unfortunately, I can't do shit with that. The suppress, it pushes back hostiles into 1 zone back, but they all start at long range, so that's not going to matter. And then the move card allows the player to move to another zone, but I still need morale points. So this entire hand is a muck. I can't do anything with it. I'll tell you what, we're just going to start a discard. We're going to save ourselves a little time. I'm going to draw another set of cards and just mulligan this. Save ourselves some time here, man. God, that one makes you wonder. If you don't get at least a couple of blanks or a fire card, you can't do anything. Crawl, hidden, suppress, move. Okay, now to be fair, I'm not telling you the exact truth of it because there are other things that can be done, right? So if the card draw phase didn't work and I didn't get cards I could do, I would still do the patrol phase, check for enemies, get the hostiles on the board, any snipers, any hostiles, handle that, go to the radio comm phase, enemy reserve phase, and then not the extraction phase, but there's a card discard, and it doesn't even list it down here on the sequence of play, but it's right about here on the sequence of play, and then we would go back over there. So there are things that would be happening. There is a chance of an airstrike happening, which would potentially cause enemy casualties, and I get morale points that I could use. But I wanted to start off with a hand I could actually do something with so I could show you guys what was going on instead of running through that over and over and over again. So bear with me as we made sure that we had a hand we can do something with. Now I got a couple of blank cards, so at least I can discard them as a fire action. I've got an equipment card, a move card, and a crawl card. Okay, now patrol phase. Simply here, all we're doing, and I've got a bunch of D6s here. I'm going to grab them out randomly and roll them. We are rolling and simply looking to see if we get a 4 since we're in zone 4. Again, I'm starting ahead. But if we do, a enemy patrol will spawn here. If we do not get that, then no enemy patrol spawns, okay? Doesn't matter really what number you put on it. Patrol 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, technically that's the zone they're in, but it doesn't make any difference game-wise. All right, so let's roll for it. And we got a 6, so that means no patrol. Good stuff. So now we get to move on to the enemy hostile phase. So what we're going to do is we've got a deck of hostile cards here. we're going to draw this, and that's going to tell us how many hostiles appear in our zone. Okay, so we draw and we see 3 hostiles. I take and place that there so I know how many I've got, keeps it in my mind. Take a single hostile counter, place it at long range. And again, this is where I keep track of the hostiles. This is where I keep track of the target as far as range goes. So they're at long range. That's where they always start. Let me move my cards out of the way here. And the actual targets you place here in the enemy box. Now, this shows 3 hostiles that we have to take out. I can shoot them or potentially get them in close combat as they move up on me. This is the time where I got to point out one more little niggle as far as the components go. And it's the fact that for some reason, this game has the counters that are not cut the exact same size. And I don't get that. Most of those die cut counters are always fine. Like they're almost the exact same size, not huge differences off. These are off to the extent of like 2 or 3 millimeters. Like it's easily able to be told with just your fingers that these aren't the same. Honestly, it's really not that big of a deal, because if you use tweezers to pick it up, you're only picking up generally 1 counter at a time anyway, so it doesn't really affect the game. This one isn't one of those games like a tactical game you would see where you're stacking up units, a bunch of units, and trying to move them around. That's a time where it's a pain in the butt to have counters that aren't the exact same size. This one, since very rarely, I don't think, with the exception of this one box, I can't think of another time you could potentially stack counters. So it really doesn't matter. It's a kind of a pain in the butt, but it's one of those quality of life things that's like, I would appreciate it, but it's not going to kill me if I don't have it. We've got our hostile cards, right? Drew that, and now we get to do stuff. We have to potentially spot them, fire on them, do all this good stuff. It explains all this here in our procedures. It explains part of it here and here in the procedures. And see, and this is one of those things that I'm kind of like, why'd you put it in both spots? Because it talks about doing a fire action here on the player aid, and it talks about it here where it's going through all the parts of a fire action with the die roll modifiers and all that. It's like, okay, well, more spots the merrier, I guess. Anyway, we need to spot these guys and shoot these guys. To do so, I have to play fire cards or blank cards. I will play the fire card. Can I do anything else with this? That's tripwire, crawl, move. Okay, so I can't do anything else with those. I am going to do a combination of my binocs and these 2 blank cards. This will give me a fire action, 1 fire action, not 2, or not 1 fire card, which is 2 fire actions, but not 2 cards worth. This is only worth a single card. So the binocs allow us to automatically spot. I'll put that in my discard for the tactical, put these in my discard for the action. Normally in our procedure, we would have to potentially try to spot them. It does list that down here, right, on attempting to spot hostiles. You spot them on a roll of a 1 to 2. They're not spotted on a 3+. They are spotted. Playing binocs means they're automatically spotted, so I don't have to worry about that. Now we go to the shooting part. The shooting part, I'm more than likely going to miss because there's a lot of modifiers that go into this. We have to see what their disposition is. Target behavior. 1 to 3, they're moving, which is a -1 modifier. I have not had a target that wasn't moving yet. Let's see. Told you, they're moving. So that's -1. Now they are at long range. That's -2 cumulative. So now we're up to -3. Let's check wind. Wind has always gone bad for me. Wind is a D10. Let's roll it. 4. Yeah, that's bad. Medium. The -2. We are at -5. And I've got to get 7 or better on a 2d6. I think we've got to nail the railroad tracks right now to kill one. That should be the end of my my modifiers. Yep. Spotter's alive, so no modifier. If he's killed, it's a -2, but I'm not worrying about the spotter. This is why you really need a better weapon than the starting A3. You almost need to have a weapon that gives you a positive die roll modifier because it's almost impossible to hit at long range. So we've got a cumulative -5. 1 for the target moving, 2 for the range, and 2 for the wind. The wind stays between shots. We get 2 shots here, okay? We have to check their disposition on their movement and adjust for the range the next shot, but the wind stays, so we're sticking with the -2 wind. So let's take our first shot. And unfortunately, that's a miss. It's close, but that is only a 4. We need a 7 or better to hit, so that's not going to work. Every time we shoot and miss, they move forward. They are now at medium range. We have to recalculate our die roll modifiers. We still have the -2 for wind. So let's see if they're moving. They are. Of course they are. That gets us -3. Okay, so it's -4 now instead of -5 because they're at medium range. And let's fire again. Yeah, we got negative. Negative, baby. That's why I started at range 4. Or at zone 4. So now they're at short range. If I had the ability to shoot with any other cards, I could do so. I do not have the ability to do so. So I will be discarding the remainder of my cards. We will continue on. The hostiles aren't going to move on their own. They're going to move in the next hostile time frame when I start shooting at them again. And let me not forget, I do have a gun check to see if my gun jams, but it doesn't matter. I'm supposed to do this earlier, but oh well. And it did jam, but God, my dice are killing me. I'm done shooting now anyway. I should have done it earlier, but I'm done shooting, so screw it. My gun jammed, so I was done taking shots. So we're going to continue on. We go to our radio comms phase after all action cards have been played or discarded. So yes, your discard would happen here, not here. I am wrong on that one. It's time to get on the comms, draw an action card. If it is a fire card, you have managed to radio for an airstrike. Roll 2d6. If either die shows a 6, receive 15 morale points, which is awesome. And all enemy hostiles in play are KIA. If the card is not a fire card, your signal has failed. Move on to the next phase. Guarantee you this will not be a fire card. I'm grabbing my dice. Come on, fire, fire, fire. No, it's a crawl. So we do not get to shoot. Carry on to the next phase. Now we go to the enemy reserve phase. This is that soft time limit that I was talking about. And this is a hostile card, so no reserve. We do not have to put that in play. When that does happen, we're going to move this marker up and start ticking it on along. Okay? When it hits 8, we're done. Yep. The counter is moved into 8. You have been found taken prisoner of war. In other words, don't get greedy with the kill points and keep things moving. Stick around too long and you'll eventually be found out. Extraction phase only happens after you've killed your target. So we go back around to the card draw phase. We would draw for hostiles if we did not have hostiles. But once you have hostiles, you're only going to draw for like the patrol. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and a tactical card, which is scope, -1 wind effect. We might actually be able to get some shots across. And suppress, move, fire. There it is. And suppress. And bipod, to give +1 die roll modifier with fire actions. A card must be discarded to deploy the bipod. Bipod will remain in effect until player moves. It's actually not bad because I'll have to discard that otherwise. So we got some ideas here. We got some plans. We got some plans here. We can play all of this. First, let's see if we have ourselves a patrol hit us right now. Hopefully not, because if the patrol does, they're probably going to cause some critical wounds. We get a 4. Nope, no 4. So now we continue on. And we're going to go to the hostile phase, which We already have hostiles, so we don't have to draw, right? As long as you've got hostiles, you're good. But once you don't have hostiles, then you have to draw for new hostiles. We are going to play this. We're going to play suppress, suppress, right? Both the suppresses. We're going to move them little bastards back. 2. We are going to play the bipod, discard the move. And I'm going to keep the bipod out so I remember I have it. And then I'm going to play the fire card with the scope effect. So I'm playing it all, baby. We're swinging. That means we have 2 shots. And I have to play all my cards and do all my stuff before. I don't get to hold on to these cards and then play them after the effect to determine, right? You have to play it first. We get a +1 die roll modifier when attacking, and we get a -1 to the wind effect. And I still got to spot these guys, so that's kind of a pain in the butt. I already spotted them on the previous turn, but I'm pretty sure I still got to spot them since I don't have a card that works. Let's see. Remind me. Yep. It's a single die roll. Got them. Okay. We spotted them. We get 2 chances to spot them. Dose. If we had missed, that would have been a problem. All right. So we got them. Let's figure out their target behavior. What are they doing? I guarantee you they're moving because they're getting shot at. I have not had one that hasn't been moving yet. They're moving. They're moving. They're at long range. I should have kept them at close range, but they would have come in at hand to hand. I could only get 2 shots off by kicking them back with the suppression. And now the wind. See how bad the wind's going to mess us up. 5. 5 is going to be medium. If it had been 1 higher, I would have muted it. But thanks to the scope, we're going to reduce that down to 1. So, +1 die roll modifier. We might actually hit something this time. Let's see. We're going to get 2 shots on these guys. We get 1 negative die roll with the wind because of the scope. And that gets us -3 total because of long range. And they're moving. So what is our total? The total's 5 negative. And I'm basically getting 2 from these cards. So it's -3 total. Ugh, that's not horrible. All right. Let's see if we can hit something. That's a whiff. And that might actually hit something. 8. Yes. We finally killed 1. So I would have got him on the second one anyway, but I just checked the weapon. I keep forgetting I'm supposed to do this after each shot. I need a new D10 because this D10 rolls 1 way too damn often. Doesn't matter. We're keeping that kill. So here's my little nugget. I've got 5 points now to potentially move on with. D10s here. We're grabbing out a spare D10 because this one, it just keeps rolling 1. See, it's a 7, but it was right next to the 1. Let's see. Look. This thing has rolled 1 more than it should. That one's going away. That's a bad die. Okay, but regardless, that takes care of that. That's all my cards that I get to play. The hostiles are now at short range. And again, you can see why I started at zone 4. Because if I had started at zone 5 or at zone 1, we would never get to zone 5. Okay. Especially with my rolls. I'm out of cards, so we'll go to the radio core comms phase. Please be a fire card. It's not. I never get radios. And draw the enemy hostiles. Still got hostiles, so no enemy reserve, and we kick back over to our card draw phase. So yeah, basically anytime all enemy hostiles are eliminated, that's when you're going to be drawing a new hostile card to populate these guys, but you won't until then. We've got a fire equipment, a hidden, and another equipment, which isn't doing anything for us. And tactical is Iron Lung, which is +3 die roll modifier. So we might, cross our fingers, actually hit someone this time. That's going to be a stretch. But if we get these two guys, we can move over to zone 5 finally. Let's see if we encounter a bad guy this time. Alrighty, let's roll for it. Oh, okay. We got a 4, which actually means we do encounter a patrol. I was kind of hoping that would happen so I could show you guys. So we take our patrol. Patrol goes right next to us, right? It just means that they encountered us. And this really isn't that big of a deal. It simply means we roll 2d6 or 3d6? 3d6. Any 6s means that we've escaped. If not, we have to place a critical. Let's use my lucky double 6s. No, not lucky. We'll put the critical. Oh, before I forget to mention, if you are spotted, you can use this hidden card marker to escape from an enemy patrol. We'll just pretend that I didn't have that one since I wanted to show what a patrol looked like anyway. So we'll pretend that I didn't have that little hidden card. But if you do have a hidden card, you are allowed to play that. If a patrol pops up and finds you, you get to play that, and essentially they didn't find you. All right, hostiles are still with us. We're going after them. Let's see. We got Iron Lung. I don't think we got anything else we can play that's going to help us. Basically, we're just going to be playing our fire card to try to get these guys. We got to attempt to spot them. And to spot them, we get 2 chances. We're looking for anything above a 2. Anything above a 2. Above a 2. Okay. Good. I did not want to lose them. Did we? They don't move up when we're spotting, do they? Yeah, it doesn't say anything about them moving up if we miss with a spot. So nothing too bad. They are at short range. Short range means no die roll modifier for range. And I'm getting +3 for my Iron Lung. No spotter we have to worry about. So now we just got to figure if they're moving and what the wind is. They're moving. No, they're not moving for a change. Ah, look at that. Hey, there's a miracle. Time for everything. So they're not getting that -1. And watch, I guarantee you this wind's going to come up with a 1. Watch it. No, 8. It's actually pretty decent. It's -1. That means ultimately I'm getting a +2. I'm actually in the positive for modifiers because the only modifier that is hitting is the wind, which is the -1, and it's just taking 1 away from the Iron Lung. They're not moving in short range, so there's a good chance that I'm actually going to hit something here. I get a +2 against these guys. What is that? Okay, 7 + 2. That is going to be a hit. So we will kill 1 more of these hostiles. I'll gain another 5 morale points. And no jam. So we get to take our second shot. If we miss, then they move up. But since we didn't miss, they move up. And we hit them. They are deceased. So now we have killed these hostiles. We have enough points to move. And I will be drawing another hostiles card for up there in just a second anyway. Actually, I think, if I remember right, you got to draw it like immediately. So we'll go ahead and draw it because they do have the potential to follow you. So we get 2 back on there. They're going to be at long range. 2 here in our enemy's box. Not too bad. Not too bad. Discard that tactical card. We are out of cards. Back to the radio phase. Radio phase. We draw. Hey, we got a fire card. We actually get to hit them with an airstrike. Roll 2d6. If either die shows a 6. 15 morale points. All hostiles in play. And that's it. Yeah. Looking for 6s on just 2d6. Come on, give me the 6s. 6s. Big boy. 6s. Ah, yes. I saw that first one. I was like, no. Then I saw the second one. Yes. Okay, perfect. Sweet. Boom. Bitches, you die. you die again, which really doesn't matter because we're going to draw some more. And I get another 15 morale points. Now you see why I'm using little beads to keep track of it, because it's easy to look down there and go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. You see what I'm saying? Versus trying to move that little counter, 5s and 10s, because you're never going to put the morale any other spot besides 5s and 10s. So it's like, why make that shit? Okay. We'll draw them here in just a second. Let me go ahead and do the reserve phase. Nope. No reserves. And now we actually get to show you guys what it is to go after a VIP target. Okay, so I got my cards drawn up here. We're ready to go. And for our purposes, pretend that we're at zone 1 because I was just looking at it. I need 60 points to move into zone 5. I've only got 30. It's because I started at zone 4. We're not going to wait until I've built up the 60 points. But basically, you need those 15 points between each one of the zones to move up to the next zone. So essentially, since I started in 4, and that's how we're doing this to show you guys, I needed the 15 points to move from 4 to 5, right? So I got the 15 points I needed plus some. So we're good there. To make things easy on us, I'm not worrying about drawing hostiles for zone 4. Normally, I would draw the hostiles for zone 4, replacing them, and then there's a chance that they will follow along and come after my guy. We're going to ignore that for just the purposes of going after the target. But don't forget, when you're moving from zone to zone to zone, there is a chance that hostiles will come after you. Okay. But we're moving on just so I can show the target at least. So let me move my ghillie suit. We are playing the move action to move there. I need a roll to see, because I'm sure I forgot a patrol roll. I feel like I've missed a patrol roll or two here, but let's roll and see if there is a patrol in 5. Nope, no patrol in 5. Now we draw our hostile card. 2 hostiles at long range. And now we actually get to see who our target is. And there's a spot. When you get to zone 5, talks about a sequence play, you're going to flip your target VIP card over to reveal. This is the target that must be KIA, killed, to secure the mission. The card will specify the target's range and whether they are moving or stationary. Therefore, do not check for target behavior or in the firing procedure. Before you can shoot at the target, you must kill any enemy hostiles in play in this zone. You may play up to 2 fire cards, 4 shots in total, and attempt to take out the target. If you fail to hit, you must stop shooting at the target and continue to the extraction point. Move to zone 6 ASAP. Okay? So, what that means is once we reveal our target, let's go ahead and reveal our target. We got dude here. Does it say his name? I don't think it says his name. Just VIP. Got it. He is at medium range, so we'll mark him at medium, and he is stationary. That's who we've got to try to kill. We have to kill the hostiles that are between us, and then after we kill these hostiles that are here, we get 4 shots to take him out. Okay, that's it. For our purposes, we're going to say we got the hostiles, all right? We picked them off just because it can take a little while of them going back and forth on us. Actually, I can't remember if I showed you guys close combat. Let's say, for example, that these hostiles got in close, because I don't think we showed close combat. So let's do close combat with these guys real quick to make it fair. We'll say they ran in on me. This is not me playing the game the right way. This is just showing you close combat, which would happen if I continued to shoot at them and they missed and they moved up and got into my zone. I just want to show that just to make sure I don't miss a portion of the game. Close combat itself, listed down on our procedures, both player aids actually, but it's another 3d6 roll. Unlike the patrol one, any result of a 3+ will kill one hostile on your 3d6, but any hostile still alive now, they're going to roll 1d6 for each one remaining. 4 higher is going to be a hit, and I think that's a normal hit. There were some errata that had marked down. I don't think it's that one. So yeah, I think that's just a normal hit. Oh, and while we're talking about it with our VIP targets, they don't need to be spotted. That was an errata that was cleared out as well. So you don't need to spot these guys to go after them with your 4 total shots. So let's say these guys got in on us. We're doing our 3d6 roll. I get 3 to go after them, and I get the 2. I got all 3, or all 2 of them, but I got what I needed to. So our rolls were successful. I was able to kill the 2 hostiles at close range. Had any of them survived, they would have rolled d6s themselves, and on a 4+, they would have caused wounds to my character. Now, let's see what I got shot-wise. I'm going to suppress, crawl. Oh, and something neat. The crawl allows you to move to the next zone, and you don't have to check to see if an enemy patrol will track you down. So that thing I was talking about before, when you're moving and you can potentially get caught by the enemies, using a crawl card to do it is better than a move, because it means you don't get attacked when you're doing so. It doesn't look like any of these cards are going to be able to help me, with the exception of the shoot. But we'll play off this shot, let you guys see me take some shots at our target and see if we can get him. Discard the rest of these cards I know I'm not going to use. All right, got our fire card. He's stationary, so we don't get a modifier. He's a medium range, which means that's a -1. We got to check for wind. Wind is a 5, because of course it is. That's medium. So that should be -3 total. Modifiers. I do believe it is. Yep. 1 for range, 2 for wind, and that is it. All right. Use these. Blow it on. Little good luck. See if we can hit this guy. Come on. 1 hit. 1 headshot is all we need, and we're getting -3 to do it. We need good rolls. Oh, did I get it? I think that's just 1 too low. That's a 9. It's a 9 -3, which is 6. Oh, it's 1 off. We need a 10 to get him. Oh, we need a 10 to get him. Hold up. Weapon didn't jam. Still good. All right, come on. Come on. No whammy. Oh, we missed it just a little bit. Okay, so let's continue on and say we did kill our target, didn't kill our target. Once you have taken either your 4 shots or killed your target, right? You get your kill points that you got listed down for him. In this case, we would get 4 kill points. Kill points are essentially the points that you're going for. You really want to get those points because you can save those up and get new things like new rifles, pistols, knives that you could use that really give you some good modifiers, because your starting equipment is garbage. But what we would do at this point, and I am starting to move through a little bit fast because we're getting long in the tooth. It took me a little while, a little longer. I might cut some of this down than I thought. We would move to the next zone once we had our prerequisite points. Once you get to zone 6, you have to play 2 movement cards, 2 movement type cards, and you get to extract. That is your goal, to extract out, and that means you survived the mission. You got away from the enemy. You need to do that before your guy gets killed, before you've taken too many wounds, before the enemy reserve track gets to 8. You need to extract out. Regardless of whether or not you killed your target, you need to do one of those 2 things to succeed there at your mission. Then, if you're playing something like a campaign, that's when you can use things like the points that you've earned up over your campaign to get some of these different weapons, which, like I was saying, the Barrett, that thing gives you a +3 on the wind chart and a +3 on fire actions. That just, yeah, that's That's pile driver. Things like the pistol adds a reroll of a single die in close combat, and the combat knife adds a die in close combat. Obviously, something that's definitely going to help you out, especially if you get both of those. It's going to really help keeping you alive. And then some better weapons at a minimum, at least something like the M82 Barrett to give you a +2 in each. You want to get those modifiers to make it easier to get these shots off, because it is just so hard, especially at long range. That is the basics of how you play sniper. I did rush through the game a little bit there at the end, but I was running low on time. I wanted to kind of get to it. So let's pop back over and discuss a few final thoughts of it. All right, so that was Sniper Kill Confirmed. I hope you guys enjoy that. Make sure you definitely comment. Let me know what you think of the new filming technique that I tried out. As far as the game itself goes, yeah, there definitely are some issues. I think it had too much errata for its size, especially for the size of that rulebook. There's just too much. It needed more time in development. The other things that I mentioned when we were playing through, the fact that the locations really aren't different. I really think that is one of the biggest things that was missed, that they could be adjusted, right? Those different player boards, the different location boards, and especially those location cards. The differences were so minute that it really makes no difference to the game what location you go to. And I kind of think I have an idea of what he was going for, in the fact that he wanted the action cards to be able to be used with each location. And that's fine, but I think you could have made other adjustments, like I was talking about with the wind, for example, the fact that the wind would have more an effect in the desert than it would in an urban environment. So instead of having that wind chart there on the sniper board, have it directly located on each of the location boards. That right there would have been a change that would have given at least each location a different feel from each other. Some areas could have had more cover. Some areas could have had more traps. Jungle maybe have different types. They all had the same type of traps. They all had claymores. They all had tripwires. I mean, the jungle could have had what are those things called? The punji sticks. I forget the exact name. The stabby sticks buried down in there. Have different things like that to give those locations a different feel. And maybe even adjust it for the hostels. I would have to give the hostels more of a thought to see if they could be adjusted to react differently depending on which location you were in. And I would have liked to have seen also more bad guys, more VIP targets. The game only came with 4. I think that could have been fleshed out a little bit more than it was. Again, maybe location dependent, or bump it up, 8, 9, 10 targets, whatever, something to that effect. To be fair, I do have to say I feel like I am owed part of the blame for where Sniper ultimately came out, because I was given a prototype version of this, and I was able to play it a little bit before the game released. You guys saw my playthrough was actually on their Kickstarter, and I had noticed some of the issues then, but my thought process was, hey, it's still in development, it's not done yet. And I thought about sending something and I didn't. For whatever reason, I think I had something going on at the time and I either forgot or I didn't get around to it. Whatever the case is, that's on me. That's my responsibility. I should have actually sent that message over to him, regardless if it was going to be kind or not. And well, it would have been polite. But I do have to accept some of the responsibility, because that is on me. The onus is on me if I see something that I feel should be changed, and I should have taken that time to let them know, because otherwise I'm not doing my job for the publishers. So I do have to apologize to you guys and to the publishers for that, because that mistake's mine. Ultimately, where the game lands, I hate to say, I can't recommend it where it is. I would like to see Sniper Kill Confirmed revamped a little bit with the changes that I talked about, with other changes others could look at, and then fixing some of the errata, some of the clarifications to make things easier. And if they hit a second edition with those improvements, with the errata, with the changes to like locations of targets and things of the like, that little bit of improvement, maybe wipe out some of those just needless counters, whatever the case is, they could actually bring the cost down. And then do an upgrade kit or a second edition, whichever way they wanted to go with it. If they did something like that, then I would recommend Sniper Kill Confirmed. But as it is, where it currently stands, I hate to say it, I can't recommend it. And I really do hate saying that, because you get to know these people over time as you work with them. And I really like the people at Compass. I think they're great. I think the games they put out are awesome. I don't think I've ever not recommended one of their games. I have some that I like better than others. Hell, I'm the only one that loved the, the map for Absolute Victory. It's one of my favorite maps. Everyone else hates it, but I freaking love it. You know, I like weird maps. But you don't want to, not recommend a game from people you're friendly with. But I wouldn't be doing my job if I wasn't honest about it, and if I wasn't honest with you guys. So I feel like I do have to say that. If they do a second edition, I will absolutely review it. I will pay for it myself to make sure you guys know I am giving you an honest opinion on it. Anyway, you guys stay tuned. I will be covering Carrier here soon. I have been working my butt off trying to get that in my head. I've been taking my time with it because I want to do it to the best of my ability. I think that game really deserves for me to take my time with it. And you guys deserve for me to take my time with it to make sure I give you the best experience, best video experience possible with that one, because it is shaping up to be something special. So I'm really looking forward to getting that one up for you guys very soon. And I've got some other cool stuff coming up. So you guys stay tuned for that as well. That's going to be it for me. Y'all take care. I will catch you in the next.